Testing, testing. Testing 1, 2. Why is it doing that? Ow now, brown cow. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, what's going on, y'all? We're about to get started here momentarily. About 1 minute. Checking some stuff, making sure. Looks like my mic is good. Awesome. Happy Monday. Whew. Turn that off. All right. Woo. What's going on? It is Z Rex with no noise. We are live on this beautiful Monday. It is February 6th, 2023. We got all the ice melted down here. We're out of our winter mega storm, which I know the people up north are laughing. They're like, wow, y'all closed for like the whole week for some winter storms? That's cute. Oh, let's turn that off. We don't need no background music. Anyway, hope you all had an awesome weekend. It's the start of the new week. Full nice trading week. See if we get some follow through to the bulls or what's going on. This is going to be fresh looks for me too. I got kind of a late start today. So anyway, let's just jump into the action since we're already a little behind. Starting with Mama Bear as we usually do. Let's see what it did for the weekly since we did have the weekly close yesterday. All right, zoomy, zoomy. Yeah, pretty meh. Nothing really there. I don't really. It's gonna kind of have the same narrative as the last few videos. Still above about 23 on the shorter time frames, which it looks like we did kind of breach into a little bit. 22,650. I guess that was probably overnight. Let's zoom in even mo. Yeah, that was late last night into the wee hours of the morning. But yeah, I mean, kind of that 23K. We get a little comfy below 23. We probably do come back and test 21,000, give or take a G. And it's Bulls. This is the place where they'd stall. So that 24K is real. Nothing's changed there. We are getting a little bit of a roundingness here. Again, we start losing that. I guess it's a little lower on the 8 hour ish, the 458, which is about an 8 hour. It's a little bit lower at about 22.5, but on the daily, definitely about 23. Might be splitting hairs there. It's only freaking $500, so whatever. Will we kind of just stall here and get held up by the bulls and have continuation? I think that's what most people want to see. Is it super likely? I don't know. I feel like it's 50-50 at this point. I feel like they should have already did it. They've had, how long have they been up here? Since the 21st of January. I mean, they've had pretty good ample time to move, and we haven't seen any follow through yet, so pretty interesting. Regardless, about 22.5 and that 24,000 is kind of our little mini range, and below or above there, we're not going to get any moves until that happens, and I'd look for about 21,000. And then on the upside, if that did break, we could probably look for a test of below this cluster, which is about 28,000. So almost looking sexy, but not quite. Again, that's been the case for the last couple of weeks now. Right up under the trend line on futures, right under horizontal, right under 200. So yeah, not the best chart for bulls yet. It's almost super sexy. You know, one thing that is different about this run that's than all the other runs is, let me turn off some of these drawings. I mentioned a couple times, it's definitely noteworthy, is Bitcoin's never been comfortably below the 200 like this. I think that's a very noteworthy thing that we're struggling to get above it. Clearing that would look really sexy, and that's again over 24,000. You know, and it's kind of interesting that it's below it. You know, Bitcoin's never been around when we had a major like depression or recession. It came out right after the GFC, the '08 Great Financial Crisis. Yeah, it was around for Corona or whatever, and I know that was like a flash crash, flash recession, but it hasn't been in like a really drawn out recession, like a more real one outside of the Corona Black Swan thing. So, and a lot of people think 2023 is going to be ushering that in. I don't know. Maybe Bitcoin is kind of also predicting that with it being under 200. Obviously, I'm just thinking out loud here. Nobody knows, but I think that's very different in price action that we've seen in the last 11 years. So definitely noteworthy. All right, back over here. This won't close. We won't get any stuff on this until the end of the day for the closing. Kind of same thing, petering out right under the 200 and a daily doji right there. Let's go to BitO. BitO is actually above its 200, so it's a little different, but it's also barely been out for a year-ish. So great product to trade options on, though. If you like to trade options, this is probably the best way to trade Bitcoin options. Unless you can trade on Deribit. Deribit's definitely the best one, but they're not available for US customers anymore, so that kind of sucks. Ethereum's still kind of doing that upward sloping flag formation thing, so that's still pretty good. Hold on. There we go. Let's look at DMI real fast. Yeah, kind of struggling to get back in the power zone here, which I consider above 26, while the bears are trying to creep up. Let's zoom in just a bit. Yeah, I mean, this actually looks a little bit better than Bitcoin. You even have this kind of trend line right there that you probably can't see. Let me brighten that up a little bit. Let's go a little bit more brighter. How about like that? So we lose this about 1600, kind of the same as it's been for a while. 1600 and about 1680 is the range, and until we're out of that, it's kind of just ping pong mode, and with everything else just kind of dragging its ass, It's like it's just again, it's the same shit as the last like 5 videos. It's just almost super sexy, but we just still are struggling underneath major resistance levels. Oh, let's look at weekly Ethereum since that just closed. Oh, right up under the mama, right under the trend line. It is above its 200, so it's a little bit more better than Bitcoin in that respect, with a tiny little incremental new high here. But we've got double dojis on a weekly and right under major resistance. That's just not enough to get my bull boner nice and girthy. Not quite enough. Almost there. Same price action on futures. Looks very similar to spots, so nothing to really say there. Doji for the weekly close right under the 200 on Litecoin. It did stretch all the way to that 102 level. That's what we were kind of looking for right underneath this. Right around 100 is major, major resistance. And you can see that too right here. All these bodies are literally right around 100, 130 cents. So, I mean, and you're getting lower wicks now on the candles too. So bears are definitely confirming that 100 is for sure mega resistance. And then we have like lots of trend line crosses. We got 1, 2, 3 right here, also at the whole number and 200. I mean, you can't get more resistance right there. It doesn't mean it can't go through it, but it does mean that bulls will have a hard time as bears defend this with all their might. Above $100, pretty much on most time frames. Let's even look at lower. We got one little tiny one right here, and then immediate rejection. And I mean, it was only by like barely $1, so whatever. But yeah, you can see immediate rejection so far. Doesn't mean it can't go through, obviously, but just confirming 100 is major resistance. All right, let's go. Jesus, 3 triple dojis on Ethereum Classic, right under that 24 level, right around the 21. So this actually didn't give us any new information over the weekend at all, except confirming that $24 is major resistance indeed. We do kind of have this drift up, sort of like Ethereum here. So we could put like a little trend line. My chart's already dirty enough. We can see that there. So I mean, it's trying to get above this level. So I guess that could be 1 point for the bulls above like 22.40. It looks okay, and they are kind of defending that right now. But we start getting below 22.40. I mean, I'd look for a minimum of about 20.50, and then have to kind of see what the price reaction is from there. But kind of the same shit, different day. Oh, kind of getting a little heavy on Ripples. Garlic bread. What is he doing over here? Not much. Let's see what the weekly looks like. Same shit, different day. Hanging out right on the 21. Let me take this one off of the chart. We don't need that right now. Oh, yeah, I mean, holding on for dear life at about 39 pennies. Same as the last videos. We hold 39, it's all right. But we are getting lower highs here. Look at this. Every time the bulls try to pump it, they are getting rejected over and over and over. About that 42-cent area. So 39 to 42 is a range trade ability there for sure, but man, it is getting a little bit. The move that's coming out of these this consolidations, man, is going to be fairly big. And we're getting some squeezed up Bollinger Bands. All right, let's close that up. Let's go over here. Just kind of flagging out a little bit. It is holding above this little cluster here and this little attempt by the bulls at the trend line. So the same shit at 8.8 cents. I mean, a lot of this hasn't changed at all. We don't have really any new info from the last video, so I'm just going to kind of go through these pretty fast because there's no point in beating a dead horse, right? Below the 21, I mean, same shit, different video. Tron looks a little bit better. You are getting some higher wicks here, and it looks like it did barely take out this one. So Tron actually is doing something different. You can see the bulls are maintaining the power zone above 26, so that's interesting. Weekly still kind of shit, but on the daily, it's kind of doing this slow grind up. Right here at about 6.2 pennies. If it can kind of hold above that, you know, maybe it gets the stab. God, this wick is just messing my damn chart up, man. I'm gonna have to do my own little scrolling and adjustments. It does have major resistance at 6.5 pennies, so you're pretty much like 6.2 and 6.5. Above 6.5, you can probably look for like 7, low 7s on that. So a little bit better, but I hang my hat on Mama Bear, so Mama Bear ain't doing shit, then whatever. Same shit here, right up to major resistance. That's what we were talking about Friday, maybe getting the pumps over the weekend to a little bit more of these next highs, testing them. Looks like we did that for the most part. Man, a perfect, pretty much doji of indecision in a very critical area. Very interesting. Very interesting. ADA, same crap. It's actually breaching the trend line today. We get a couple more of those and lose like 37 cents. We'd probably come back down to low 30s on that. Conversely, on the upside, if it can breach about 42 cents, man, it's a lot of meme numbers here, 42. If it does that, man, we probably can look for like upper 40s, close to 50, maybe even low 50s if it wants to get excited. I don't think that would happen unless Bitcoin broke 24,000 though. Because we are kind of starting to make this rounded here. You can kind of see on some of these, or like not on this one, but on Link and a few others, they're kind of just like stalling and dragging their feet. And that's not great for bulls to be dragging feet and ass right under major resistance levels and at major pivot points for the bulls. So they're trying. They are trying. Let's see. EOS. I mean, nothing much different, man, about any of these charts. Same shit under the 21. No really follow through. This one's just lollygagging. Major resistance at 115. Supports at about $1. BCH. Oh, look, it's the same. Wow. Shocker. The 55 and the Mama are up there a little bit still, about 150 on the Mama. So maybe it can get a little stab up to 150. It did come up and test those clusters. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see some liquidation breaks here and some retraces. Like we talked about before, I think the best case scenario here is actually to stall, sell off, and retest some of these breakout zones so the bulls can confirm that they are strong enough to defend their first attempt getting out of all the price action to the left. So that's very important because you can't just be going vertical straight up for a while. Oh, look. Satoshi Vision, the real Satoshi, is still sideways. Awesome. Let's move on. Oh, snap. Okay. This is different. So we actually already have Monero, which was looking so good, is attempting, or actually is breaking this trend line. Now, is it doing what we just discussed? Is it just doing a little liquidation action to retest the breakout zone? It could be doing that. Nasty weekly engulfing here. And I know this looks green because I have, but it is down 10%. So it's literally engulfing these past 2 weeks. So that actually kind of ices the bulls a little bit below 175. So this definitely looked more bullish before. And I think that was the number we were using was like 170. So and that was daily derived. But now, man, below about 170, 175, the Bears are going to regain their momentum. So now the best thing for bulls is just to retest and have the bulls defend the previous structure to the left in the breakout zone. So we want the resistance to flip to support. And so we could be getting that test. We'll see this week probably. And that would be around like upper 150s if they could defend that. That would look super sexy. Zcash. The struggle is real on Zcash. Can't really muster up the energy to even get close to the 200. Could barely even get to the 21 EMA on the weekly. So I'd say this is pretty crap below about 48. Bulls got to defend like 42. Sweet. They got to defend 42 on this. So it's like 42, 48 range right now. Until then, it's just ping pong mode. Dash trying to pump again today after selling off yesterday. Let's see what the weekly did. Not too bad. So this one again still showing relative strength against the crypto market as a whole. You know, this thing clears back above about 63 bucks. I mean, you do have major resistance from this cluster. It's one of the only coins that's testing its summer cluster from price action looking left here. But you clear that, I mean, that opens up the doors to like $85. So, because this is probably not very much volume done in this stint, which we can look at and confirm that with volume profile, but I'm assuming, oh yeah, there's like nothing there. Look at that on the volume profile. Just, whoop. So that could just shoot right past that. Let's see. But again, with Mama Bear kind of struggling, I'd say it's range bound between about 65 and about 57. So until we get price above or below that, and again, if we go below that, we're looking for the same kind of price action from bulls to defend the previous breakout zones for flipping resistance to support. So that would be nice to see that confirmation. Doge still climbing up the trend line. Did sell off a little bit yesterday, but 3% in Doge land or crypto land is like nothing huge in major markets for the most part. That's a drop in the bucket for crypto. It did. Okay, so one thing about this structure here is the bulls were not able to make a higher high from here to here. And while that might seem insignificant, it is significant because they should be able to. What do bulls do? They make higher highs and higher lows. Price goes up. And so we're getting the first clue that maybe they're a little tapped out here by not making this higher high on the daily because it's been doing that pretty steadily. Doesn't mean that it can't do it this week at some point. And obviously, this would be negated. What I'm saying, if we just get back above this and close above 9.6 cents. So definitely could be just retesting. It doesn't look terrible, but that might be a little bit of a clue there. Let's see what the weekly did. Oh, wow. Weekly, gnarly doji right in between the 200, 21, and 55. So on the weekly, price is saying, nah, we're not quite ready to dominate bulls or bears. So, I mean, that is like super indecision and encompassing that entire range between 10 cents and about 8.5 pennies. So, pretty interesting there on Doge on the meme lord. Hex actually has been pumping nice. Good pumpage here. It's kind of up and down all over the place, which is not very liquid. So, nice little consolidation here. Pump. Is it just retesting the 3 cent level? Yeah, looks like it did. Bounced right off of it, about 3.3 cents. And I know this looks like it says like 3 million or whatever, but I don't know why TradingView changed the feed like that. But it is pennies, so just put a decimal after the first number. But hey, is this going to be pumping here above 3.2 cents? It doesn't look terrible. Finally attempting to get above the 21 EMA, but the struggle is real and everything. Major resistance at about 4.5 pennies, which we can see right here pretty clear. Right when it got there, we got immediate rejection from the bears on this blue candle. So confirming that mid fours, 4.5 is definitely resistance. So range is 3.3 to 4.5. Until we get out of that, we don't really have definitive action on direction quite yet. Man, helium, whatever. Could it go more sideways after this? I mean, it's okay. I guess you could argue bulls are defending this level right here at about 250. But they really need to get back above $3. So 250 to 3 is the range on this. We break 3, we can probably look for this cluster up here at about 380-ish. And breaking 2, sorry, 2, it's really about 260. But whatever, we'll just round it to 250. If we break 250, I'd look for this thing to, it could go anywhere down here from 2 to 150. So that would be a doom scenario for H&T, V-Chain. Just testing the previous cluster over here. Let's see the weekly. Yeah, nothing definitive on that weekly close. Just kind of right in the middle of the slop over here. So nothing too sexy. Radix also in the same position. I mean, a lot of these coins are just really haven't done shit. Kind of rolling over. If it loses 5 pennies again, I'd probably look for low fours, low mid fours, then reassess, and then above 6 pennies. We could probably get this bitch could probably run to like 8.5 cents or something. So, it's probably a pretty thin order book, I'd imagine. Adam's actually looking pretty damn good here. All right, so this is one that's defying some of the price action on the daily structure at least. Let's go to the weekly. Yeah, the weekly, it's trying to get above Mama and attempting to go above the 55, whilst getting above the last little local high here at about 1430. So this actually looks pretty good above. You can't get too mad about this one above 1380. Interesting. All right. So Cosmos looking decent above 1380. But definitely has mega resistance here at 1540. So 1380, 1540 is the range on that. Osmosis is not doing great here. Mega resistance at $1.10. Is it just making a higher low right here? Definitely could be. What would change my mind about that? Losing about 95 pennies. And then this chart would look pretty crappy and just range bound maybe for another 6 months or whoever knows. But yeah, about that $1.10 level and about 95 pennies. It's kind of the range on that. Ton, what is Ton doing? Yeah, that purple candle we saw last week, you can see bears did reject their attempt by bulls to get above that pretty swiftly, and it lost about half the candle. So that tells me that bears are trying to regain their dominance on this. That would not be fully confirmed, though, until we lost about $2. But definitely just noteworthy. Kind of like the Dogecoin chart where it's like it didn't make the higher high on the daily. So just kind of keep that and bring that forward with the information. And obviously it gets negated all the time. And people a lot of times, oh, it's bullish or bearish and blah blah blah. State both scenarios. Well, you have to. I'm a trader. I don't just hodl my life and say, oh, and hope for the best. Hodl and pray, hope and pray. Sometimes you have to bring forward new information. Actually, not sometimes, all the time you have to bring forward new information because we get new info every day by price action. So, and carry that forward and listen to what it's saying. And right now it's saying we're in stall mode until we get back above that, 240 at least, but really about 250. All right, let's go to equities. Equities are selling off today a little bit. Not surprising, as this move was straight vertical recently, and everyone and their mom was getting bullish on something. On the 3-hour, we still are making higher highs, higher lows. It doesn't look terrible. We do have kind of a little trend line right here, although it's a pretty sloppy one. You can't really draw this one too well, because if you do that, you're chopping it out. So it's something kind of like that, but I'm not even going to draw that. It's too sloppy for me. But we are just retesting this level over here at about 4,100. And that 4080 level, just like some of the cryptos, if we come back and the bulls defend 4080 to 4100, this could look pretty good. We are a little far away from the 21 on the daily, which usually doesn't happen on indices very often. So maybe it just kind of stalls out here around 4080 to 4100 as this catches up before continuation. But definitely that 4200 level that we were looking for last week definitely confirmed as major resistance. 4200, hell yeah. It's up all these meme numbers everywhere. Weekly, we do actually have a higher high, an open and close above here. So we do have higher high, higher low. So again, this is also confirming about that 4080-ish level. It's a little bit lower, like 4070, but whatever. It's 8 points or 10 points. That's not really that much. The mama is right here, and there is mega resistance. Again, at that 42, you can see this cluster. You can see right here where this had previous support. You can see here when it came up before selling off. Even this quick little cluster up and above. So 4200 handle is very important. And until we kind of clear that, I can't get uber bullish on markets. It's like Bitcoin. Like we're close as hell, but a lot of shit gets faked out. And I know a lot of people are probably calling this inverted head and shoulders right here. Badoop, 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 boop, boop, something like that. Neckline's kind of like that. So it's a pretty valid one for sure. They're better though when the less slanted the neckline, the better. So the more slanted, the less accurate it is. But hey, Bulls right now are attempting to do it. Staying above 40.80 is very important for the Bulls. Nasdaq, little inside candle here on Friday, getting some follow through. I mean, this bitch just got straight vertical last week. Pretty big candle. Not a. Oh, I guess we do have the first attempt on a higher high. Not confirmed yet. Bulls would have to go another probably week or so and defend 12,000. So that's the same number we've been watching to the downside. If the Bulls can stay above about 12K, they're doing pretty good. The only concern again is the trajectory of this trend line, man. That bitch is vertical as F. Would not be surprised for this to come down and test 12,000, which would actually be pretty healthy. That would be a lot more better structure than this vertical shit. And then if they defended that and for continuation on the move to the upside, that would look really good on the chart. Major resistance still on the weekly here, though, on the Mama. And right above it at about 13.2. So almost there. First day, it's Monday. Just kind of chilling. A little bit of selling, but nothing too crazy. The Dow's just, man, tight range. What does the Bollinger Bands on this look like? I bet they're really tight. Yeah, they are. They're uber tight right here. Man, yeah, so turn this off. I mean, this is smack in the middle of all this business. This is a really tough trade to take. It's 50-50 on this all day. 50-50 to 34,200 and 50. Another one, 4,200-ish. Man, more 42s. And about 33.5. So, I mean, it's still range trading all to hell. And you can see we did get close to 33.5 and right back into the middle of the range. Man, that one is kind of annoying. All right, so we broke this first speed line here. Probably come back down and test 1340-ish, 1330-ish. Again, this would look really good, though, if Bulls defend this 1900 level and we come and test it again. That would be, or I guess testing it again is correct. Because we've tested it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have one on the up, down, or I'm sorry, coming from the upside, flipping to support. We got one here, so that's nice. Now, let's see if we can get one more that's outside of this Fed-induced bull coma. Let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah, kind of getting a little bit heavy. Bears are attempting to regain control here, but this is just the first attempt. This very well could just be a little liquidation break before continuation. So kind of interesting setup here. One could argue this is 3 white soldiers, which is generally a pretty bullish ass pattern. I can't remember the exact trading rules on those. You don't see that pattern very often. But I want to say it can't take out the first, or I guess the last soldier in the line, or it negates the pattern. If I recall correctly, I believe that's the case. And you want to fact check me, you can go onto the patternsite.com is probably the best pattern site that exists, Polkowski's site. That's a really, really good one. All right, let's go to DJT. Yeah, pumping, same thing. So Bulls might be here, man. They might be here. I wish the Dow was like participating in this because the Dow actually is like in this little triangle formation, and it's about to break out of it. And by triangle formation, I'm looking at something like this. I'm just going to kind of sloppily draw that. It's kind of like this, right? And we're already, usually these break in the 70-something% area, which we're pretty much at probably a little bit past now. So, if we do a conservative move, and these are neutral patterns, by the way. So if it breaks to the downside, we're looking for testing the 200 in this cluster, which would actually be pretty good if Bulls could defend that. And on the upside, if we broke it, probably this top line. Yep. We'd be looking at the top horizontal here at 35.6. So just a whole bunch of waiting right now. Russell is the one that's gotten the worst out of it today. DAX is kind of getting rejected here, but just not enough information yet to call this like that the Bulls are done and Bears are totally back in town. So it's kind of a little inside day for the most part. VIX is bouncing off that level. I did write a little. I think I did it off the futures though. Yeah, I did write a little blurb on this, and this is end of day. It's updated, so we won't see that. But you can see on VIX, it is bouncing today. It's up about 6%. And I wrote on my ideas page about this. I saw this on the weekend. VIX is dojiing in an interesting spot. If we go back to 2017, you can see that this trend line has been very well respected. And putting a doji on this trend line is very interesting to me. And we are rallying off of it today. If VIX got back in the 20s, man, like above 21 specifically, I'd be looking for a little Poppy McPopson. So just kind of some noteworthy price action on the VIX there, maybe giving us a little bit of a clue. Oil, what's oil doing? Oil's trying to find support right here at the last Mohicans, the line in the sand, whatever your favorite term would like to be, about 72.50. Wouldn't be surprised to see a bounce up to in the mid 76 area, but this is looking pretty bad. Below $76, this is very bearish. On the weekly, yeah, I mean, there is major support around 72. Hence this little bounce we're kind of getting off of it, right at off 72.30. So, but still, man, below 76, this is pretty gnarly. Let's see. Nat gas, what is it doing? Oh my God, it's finally not going down. It's literally been dying. I was calling it last week. It's being taken to the shed behind the shed. Behind that shed almost at this point. But we are stalling a little bit. And this this should be a stall point for the Bulls. Or for the Bears, sorry. The Bulls should defend this. They got a nice bottom end of this cluster here, right at about, 250. So below 250, man, this thing goes into total death mode and can go to like 150 to below $2 pretty easy if we lose 250-ish. So be on the lookout for that. On the flip side, let's see, the 3 hours kind of doing a little clustering. If the 3 hour could get above 260, maybe we could get up to 280 pretty quick. There's likely going to be some type of relief rally in this at some point. When it will happen, nobody knows. But this is freaking straight down. I mean, there's not many charts that look like this right now. So at some point, this is going to snap back, whether that happens all the way down from $2 or this next cluster over here to $1.75. Or from right here, don't know. But there will be a good trade in this at some point for that snapback. Bonds selling off today. This isn't good. This isn't good. Even highs looks kind of awesome. You're like, oh shit, we're about to break out, squeezing. And then now we're getting rejected and breaking this trend line. We get a little bit more momentum on this, about 128. And I guess ultimately it's like 127.23, which is kind of 128, because on bonds it's still traded in fractions in 30 seconds. So you can kind of see if you look over here to the right. As soon as I get to 31, it starts over to 1. So they're still traded in some old school fraction stuff. But so losing about 128, it starts to be pretty concerning on this chart. Oh wow, the 10 years getting smashed on. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Like I said, this is a fresh look for me. Just jumped on the stream and I hadn't looked at any of the charts yet. So, wow. Okay, that's interesting. So if the notes start rolling over, is that forecasting some extra hikes, extra rate hikes, like larger rate hikes, maybe 50 points or God, 75 or something. I don't know. That's interesting. Yeah, and TNX is going. Look at the rates jumping up. Man, if the rates get back above 370, y'all, that's been the pivot point for this. I'm going to go ahead and put a little horizontal there, and we're going to, oh, crap. Oops. I'm going to put a little horizontal here, and we're actually going to put it at 369 because, yeah, 369.8. Let's see. I don't want it that color, though. What? Why is it all fat and looks like that? Hold on. Give me a sec. There we go. 370, man, is a major pivot point for rates. And if they start climbing back above there, I would be looking for some pretty large downside action in the equities. And that would probably spill over to crypto as well. That would look pretty nasty. That would be signaling that the market is foreseeing a little bit larger hikes than that's being advertised, which you can see lots of confusion if you go to like the dot plot, the Fed dot plot. You can see a lot of confusion on that after the March hike. It's pretty much all over the place, and usually the Fed is pretty definitive on that. Let me see if I can pull up a chart on that really fast, because it's the almighty Fed, even though I freaking hate everything about them. All right, let's see. That's not what I want. No, 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 no. That was written a long time ago. I pulled one up and it was like, oh, only 2.5% for this year. Well, I'm a little off on that one. Man, I need to save I found a good one. I should have saved it, man. Well, anyway, let's see. Is this it? Is this one right here? No, it's old. Well, anyway, it's showing all over the place. 50 points. It's like 30%. It's divided on all the different ones, up 25 to 50, down 25 to 50, or neutral. And they've been pretty much all leaning to raising them to about 5% until this one coming up in March. So interesting. I'll try to find that and I'll post it on the ideas page later. Oh, let's see. Dixie even pumping too. It's like, yeah, we got rate time, baby. Let's go. So that's interesting, man. I'm watching this TNX hardcore. I'm actually going to put an alert on this crossing up only once per bar close. Let me say, uh-oh. All right, let's see. Dixie rallying up to this nice cluster, though, so this could stall out here for sure at about $1.04. Nasty. We're breaking the trend line on this after going right to the 110 right here at our horizontal. Man, sometimes Voodoo Tea Leaf works really good. Voodoo Tea Leaf charting. Is this just coming back to test this breakout spot? Yeah, it definitely could be. So this is probably going to be coinciding with that TNX price of about 370. So that's the one I just usually generally like to watch. The bond market usually does not bullshit. Gold, just brutal, extra brutal move. Let me delete that, and let me delete that. I was just showing a strategy that my buddy was asking about on gold using some fib stuff. And we got to the extremes, and now we're back. Wow, we're below 1900, even this horizontal. And you can even see today, even it's only one day, but you can see a test by the bulls to get back up, even close to 19 in this horizontal, and they have failed already. So that's interesting. We stay below 1900, man. Gold could easily go back all the way to like 1800. And then you can see this other horizontal. So is this just getting back into a stupid range? Let's look at it on a weekly because gold's usually a slow mover. Yeah. I mean, we do have all the oscillators and moving averages and stuff pointing up. So, you know, maybe this can be like some crypto and some other charts where it's like the breakout attempt and we're just coming back to retest previous resistance levels to see if we can flip them as support, which we are doing right now. And this is kind of this is it, I think, kind of line in the sand for gold. It starts getting a little weaker, even just a little bit from here at about 1870. You know, we probably can go to this cluster pretty easy. And then, you know, precious metals are volatile. So, absolute brutal. This is just a horizontal. I was sharing a chart with a buddy over the weekend. Just nasty, nasty price action there. Is it retesting here? I'm taking my chances on that. I do like this odds here, so I loaded up on a little bit. Not loaded up, that's not the term. But I think I mentioned I did put in some call spreads. Or actually, I think I flipped them to put spreads on because the premium was kind of high, so I figured I'd capture some of that. And that might sound like Spanish to some people about options, which, yeah, I could understand that. Options are a little bit confusing. Tasty Trade does a pretty cool segment and easy to learn options language and stuff like that. And they do shows like every single day. So, you know, you might want to go check them out, see if that fancies you. But this could just be retesting here, and I'm trading that right now. It's just a little bounce back up to about 23 bucks, you know, 23 and a half, something like that to the trend line. Because this is just a quick 1 day, 5%, just massive move right to the what should be support right now. So, and what changes my mind on that? Pretty much any price much lower. We do have a little gap right here. So anything much lower than that gap at about 21.80, I would consider this trade busted. But again, I did define risk with options anyway, so I'm already I don't have to really worry about it getting away from me. I didn't sell naked puts or nothing. So, man, you do have bears trying to say we got dominance again above 26. They are in the power zone, and this is pretty comfortably built into the power zone, too. So I might be losing on that trade. We'll see. Platinum, but that's okay. You lose some, you win some. Platinum, yeah, this kind of looks like a false breakout now. This little attempt to get up here, get under here. We lose, last line of the sand is about this 970 area. We lose that, man. 950 is kind of the next little zone. But, man, below that, it starts to get pretty fugly. Could look for 800s. Conversely, what do bulls need? Because we got to do both sides. You know, it's not just one-sided. We are traders. Really, he's got to get all the way back above 1040. So, we got a lot of work to do there. Holy shit, Palladium is just literally breaking down further. It didn't get no love on none of that pump. Literally complete opposite. Russia's so bad, and everyone hates Russia so much that they don't like palladium because like 70% on palladium is mined there. So I guess it's not that surprising. Man, this bitch loses 1540. Shit, man. 1400 becomes very easy. And what changes my mind for the upside on this, man, as long as it's below like 1669, another one right around that area, about 1670, then it looks kind of bad, man. Not a very good chart. GDX getting rejected. It does have a gap here now, so gaps do generally get filled. That's another play, kind of what I'm doing with the silver play. I tried to get some silver miners individually, but I didn't get filled on any of them. But maybe I'll look at that, working that today. Again, it could just be retesting this little area right here. Cluster, trend line, mama, 55. The 200 daily is sloping down, so long-term trend is not in the bull's favor at this point. I'm sorry, shorter-term trend in the daily. The weekly is pointing up. Although just barely. I mean, that's mostly flat. But it's attempting. Losing 35 bucks, man, this starts to get real ugly and I would start considering a false breakout. All right, I think that's it. If anyone wants me to look at anything real quick, please throw it in the chat box now, or else I'll be signing off here shortly. Yeah, man, everything is down today. Sector action. Just this is just pretty much all the major sectors: housing, semiconductors, biotech. It's pretty much every major market, and so everything's pretty much selling off today. Um, so the top traded. Yeah, Intel getting rejections there. What about Microsoft? Mm, getting rejected at that trend line. See, that's the bad part about so a lot of the majors are actually rallied up against previous supports. So are the bears just coming up here and then getting, or I'm sorry, the bulls coming up here just to get rejected at previous support levels, turn resistance? Very well, possibly could be. We'll see what Apple's doing. Apple right up underneath that trend line and the mama and all this business too, looking left. Yeah, it's a tough one, guys. Definitely not making this market easy, that's for sure, to read. It's just it's like, I know a lot of people have claimed bulls are back in town and it's over, but when you get moves that are just so vertical like this and across like every asset, like that's sus, man. That's not like healthy bull markets. And you got bullshit stuff like this just rallying because it has AI in its name. It's like, oh, I got AI in the name. Let's rally 777%. Cool. Cool. Pretty wild. Pretty wild. It's like the crypto thing back in the day. You just mentioned, we're a blockchain company now. Oh, shit. Moon time, bitches. Let's go look at blockchain companies, actually. No, not that one. I want to look at this. Um, yeah, attempting to break out. Maybe this can find support. Again, it's kind of like the crypto charts. This is at least it's showing similarities. So if it just kind of can support and hold above about 2075, and this is a little minor index that I just made. You can kind of see in the background all the ones that are in it. It's not all of them, but I wanted enough data to where I could go back at least a few years. And so this is kind of the basket I came up with. I know there's other ones, but yeah, the struggle's real, guys. It's like we're almost freaking there, but not quite. Core is getting smashed on. Not a surprise. 50 cents was major, major mega resistance. Is it just coming back to test here? Yeah, possibly. But Bitcoin over 24K, y'all. That's super important. Super, super important. What is this? Oh, Voyager. Yeah, that Voyager just got destroyed, man. I had a buddy that worked there. Interesting stories. All right, I think that's probably it. Let's look at solar stuff real quick because Enphase was kind of defying the market for a while. Well, not anymore. You can see here it was just like pump, pump, pumpage. Is it just retesting this? Yeah, possibly. I do know these microcontrollers they make are apparently the best ones by a long shot, but dude, this thing has had an epic run the last 4 years. So is it getting a little tired here? Yeah, it kind of looks like it. JKS, yeah, sideways. Generac, probably the same. Oh no, Generac actually dumped already. Huh. Interesting. Maybe Generac might be a decent play here. I kind of like where this is at. Bulls confirming about this 90 area is going to be mega support. So about 90 to 120. We kind of ping pong in there a little bit and then break 120. This actually could be a pretty good trade here. Interesting. All right, just to wrap up real fast, Bitcoin, same shit. Rejection at 24. It's getting a little heavy here. Losing that 22.5-ish to 3K area, which we are attempting to do now, or the Bears are attempting to do now. They do that, we can probably easily look for like 20K again. Now, that could be just the retest before continuation to the upside. That would be actually a very sexy building chart. But this also could turn into a false breakout. And if that was the case, usually you get fast moves to the other side of range, and that would be all the way down at 19K. And then that's where the real super test comes in, because we start losing like 19, 19.5. Yeah, there's no more bull boner. It is fully flaccid at that point. If we start doing that, so just keep an eye out. We're not we're not there yet. We are getting a little pressure today by the bears, and we're seeing that kind of across the board on majors and a lot of stuff. So just kind of keep an eye on that. And I do think kind of a cheat code right now is that TNX number, which is the yields. So if TNX gets back above that 370 area, I would start to look for some pretty gnarly downside action, like across the board, and definitely in tech stocks. And don't forget, we have a lot of corporate bonds that are getting rewritten. And I have a long paper that I'm writing. I'm still working on it, that I'll post on the ideas page and the Substack. So y'all can check out kind of my thoughts on there, because it's actually a pretty big deal. I think the tune of like $12 trillion or something of bonds has to get rewritten in the next like 12 to 18 months. So kind of interesting. I'm still chewing on the kind of my thoughts on it. That's why I haven't posted it yet, because there's a lot of layers on that one. It's a big onion, if you will. All right, I don't see any tickers in there. Awesome. I think that's it. I'm going to wrap this up. I'll see y'all guys on Wednesday. Much love. Have an awesome, happy Monday and great start of the week. And I'll see y'all guys Wednesday morning. Peace.